Героем сегодняшней программы является удивительный...
The hero of this episode is an amazing painter, people's artist of Kazakhstan, a versatile personality famous for her portrait art and still life genre. She is known as an actress, as a master of theatrical scenic painting, and most importantly, she is an amazing, charming woman whose work is distinguished by being full of life, incredible joy, and brilliance of every moment she glorified on her canvases. We are talking about a wonderful painter, Gulfayrus Ismailova.
Замечательной художницей.
Gulmira, today the hero of our show is Gulfayrus Ismailova, one of the brightest stars of Kazakhstani art. We know her not only as a talented artist, but also as an actress, theater director, and a versatile artistic personality. Please tell us about the development of this beautiful creative woman.
Гульфайрус Мансуровна совершенно неординарная и очень яркая личность.
Gulfayrus Ismailova is an extraordinary and bright personality in the picturesque horizon of the fine arts of Kazakhstan. Her work is characterized by the aestheticization of reality. She always said, beauty is within us. She carried this perception of the world, perception of life as a constant joy of being throughout her life. Abram Cherkassky becomes her first teacher there. A person of great inner culture, skill, professionalism, a person of a large scale. He singled out Gulfayrus among other students. As a wise, experienced person, he immediately recognized her talent and even collaborated with her on a sketch for a portrait of Musrepov.
Он сразу разглядел в ней ростки, потенциал, талант и даже позволил ей вместе работать над этюдом, над портретом Musrepova. Они вместе писали.
They painted together, and with this sketch, Gulfayrus went to the Surikov Institute in Moscow. But life had its own plans, and Gulfayrus had to postpone her studies for 1 year, as she was invited to play the role of Tigrena in the movie Alitet Flees to the Mountains. After filming process was completed, she continued her studies, entering the Repin Leningrad Institute of Art.
Уже в Ленинградский институт искусства имени Репина. Жизненные пути ее и привели затем в театр.
Life paths have brought her to the theater. For 16 years, she was the chief theater artist of the Opera and Ballet Theater here in Almaty. She devoted a lot of time to the theater. We often see her sketches. These are not just clothes, these are not just sketches of costumes. One can say those are completed works of art. She viewed her theatrical sketches as canvases and embodied them as genre scenes. These are finished works. Everything is there, not just the details of the costume. There is dynamics, character, thought. This character has to be embodied on the stage, in one role or another, be it opera or ballet. Several operas were released with her direct participation, such as Yertorgin, Alpamis, Aida, and Chio-Chio-san.
Несколько опер, такие как Ертарган, Алпамыс, Аида, Чио-Чио-сан.
Speaking about the artistic heritage of Gulfayrus Ismailova, we can say that the best examples of her work are presented in our museum. But again, analyzing the entire array of her works, we understand that she is surprisingly versatile in her choices of genre. We see magnificent portraits, still lifes, scenic paintings. What genre do you think was her favorite, in which she successfully mastered?
Какой жанр можно назвать в большей степени ее, который был ее любимым или наиболее успешно реализовавшимся?
Мне кажется, да, что наоборот, все ее творчество укладывается в одну строчку.
It seems to me that, on the contrary, all her works fit into one line: culture and art. Glorification, admiration, she lives in it. This is her aura in both personal life and art. When it's theater work, she paints scenic and decorative pieces. When she is resting or wants to switch, she paints portraits.
Ведь я с вами совершенно согласна. У нее потрясающие, у нее красивые.
Her works are stunning, beautiful, unusually heartfelt, subtle, glorifying female beauty. These are sunlight, flowers, the joy of being, the joy of life, the perfection of nature, and of course the beauty of women. There are many portraits of women. These are not just beautiful women. This is the glorification of talent, the love of art, this admiration for the gift that nature, the Almighty, has endowed these beautiful women with.
Это любовь к искусству, это восхищение тем даром, которым наделила природа или Всевышний этих прекрасных женщин. Портреты Шары Жинкуловой.
Portraits of Shara Жинкулова, Шолпан Жандарбекова, Кулаш Байсиитова, Bibigul Tulagenova. Her grandmother Halida. Her whole family was artistic. Halida was a craftswoman. Gulfayrus painted her in the famous triptych, The Craftswoman. This is the image of a talented folk craftswoman who has been creating decorative objects of art with her calloused hands all her life.
Которая с такими натруженными, заскорузлыми руками, которая всю жизнь создавала этими руками предметы искусства, декоративные. А обрамляют ее портрет натюрморт хмыз и натюрморт головные уборы.
Her portrait is framed by a still life kumis and a still life headdresses. Her mother embroidered patterns, her uncle drew these patterns, grandfather was a jeweler, Zurger. She grew up in a very creative environment. This provided an excellent opportunity to enter her beloved sphere of folk applied art. These national costumes are ornate and colorful. These are adornments, the authenticity of the shapes of utensils. These are patterns and ornaments. She bathed in all of these. It seems to me that in all those items she felt the most complete embodiment of her attitude to life, her appreciation of art, of creativity, of everything, and her profession as well. I am very proud that her iconic works are in our museum collection. We have incredible priceless art, priceless canvases. They make up the golden collection of which we are rightfully proud of. They are our pearls.
Вклад, которым мы гордимся по праву, это жемчужины.
It is a great luck for any person, especially for an expert, to be personally acquainted with the artist. You and Gulfayrus Ismailova were not just well acquainted with each other, you were friends. What is your opinion of her as a person? You're absolutely right. It's a wonderful thing to know the artist as a person. In fact, Gulfayrus Ismailova, as beautiful she was in appearance, she was just as beautiful in her soul.
Она была красивой в душе, внутри. Она производила впечатление человека очень мягкого, она и на самом деле была очень...
She gave the impression of a very gentle person. She really was a gentle, kind and warm-hearted woman.
Знаете, такая черта глубоко интеллигентного человека, как благородство.
Intellectuality, nobility, generosity, nobility of thoughts and perceptions of other people, generosity towards very different people were her personality traits. Her philosophical attitude to life itself, to the manifestation of human characters, her ability to forgive, her ability to be generous. For her, the main things were friends, love, family, as well as her work, her art. This was both a job and a vocation. These were the main things. Everything else was secondary.
Это ее творчество. Это и работа, и призвание. И вот это призвание было для нее главным. Все остальное было в большей степени второстепенным.
В постоянной экспозиции музея есть 3 монументальных полотна Гульфайрус Исмаиловой, которые нередко...
The permanent exhibition of the museum contains 3 monumental canvases by Gulfayrus Ismailova, which are often mistaken for a triptych. In fact, all 3 independently created works of art are united by a common umbrella topic: the glorification of women in a professional environment. A singer, an actress, and a dancer. The paintings are festive, bright, theatrical, solemn. In the light of spotlights, we see the images of beautiful women, those Kazakhstani actresses whose images embodied on the stage have become legendary, vivid, and memorable. One of the portraits depicts Aktoti, the tragic story of a girl, the main character of this piece, who was ready to sacrifice her life in the name of love. It is an unusual portrait. Indeed, her eyes, an incredible deep gaze of this beautiful woman, whose heart is full of love, also reflects so much tragedy, so many doubts, fear, despair, the whole palette of feelings. Looking at these emotions, it is almost impossible to comprehend that this is just a canvas with oil paint on it. And this is where the talent of the painter is manifested, to revive the image, to convey its emotional state, character, inner struggle in the soul of this young, beautiful girl, whose image was embodied by Shulpan Jandarbekova. The central composition depicts the image from the legendary traditional Kazakh epic, Kizhebek, a woman of amazing beauty, an incredibly strong character capable of fighting for her love, defending it. And the story of incredibly beautiful love, unfortunately tragic, formed the basis of this amazing story, which has been passed down from generation to generation since ancient times. So the main character is Kizhebek, a woman of amazing beauty. It's interesting that the stage image of Kizhebek was splendidly embodied by the famous Kazakhstani singer and actress Kulash Baysitova. This was her starring role that determined her creative and professional status as a Kazakh singer. Notice how amazingly the artist depicts this moment of theatrical production. The dimmed light creates a magical atmosphere of waiting for the appearance of her beloved one, a handsome young man, tall again. Both the dimmed light and the silence that engulfed all the characters in this picture, her friends who listen carefully to this magical voice, which a moment later will fill the stage with a magical atmosphere. And this amazing heroine from the legend will come to life before our eyes. How subtly the artist works with color. By the way, artists have a professional rule that warm and cold colors are not to be combined in one composition. It's very difficult to maintain harmony and balance. The artist here deliberately goes for this combination of cold colors with the addition of warm tones in order to convey the special atmosphere of the magic of the performance and the magic of this story and its main character. The work The Kazakh Waltz, Gulfayrus Ismailova was faced with the task of presenting the image of a specific dancer, the famous actress Shara Zheinkulova. And look, the artist, through the details and portrait resemblance to the depicted model, seeks to find general aesthetic values, standards of beauty, which are embodied in the gracefulness of the dancer and in her incredible plasticity, in the melody of the Kazakh waltz, and frozen moment of the dance and the whirlwind of the dancer's skirt. See the challenging color scheme the artist successfully utilized. She uses extraordinary complex color modeling to convey this range in a skirt, in a dress, in this magical whirlwind of dance that captivates all of us. And of course, it manifests the celebration of the incredible beauty and fullness of life. In this regard, color is the main means of expression for the artist. It supports the aim of the artist to fully reveal this beauty and fullness of life, manifested both on stage, in the theater, and in real life, which the artist endlessly loves and depicts on her canvases. The portrait genre is undoubtedly of great importance in Gulfayrus Ismailova's work. Most often these are images of real characters. These are people, her contemporaries, whom she knows personally, with whom she actively interacts. In my opinion, one of the pearls of the collection of the Abelhan Kosteyev Museum is a painting called The Artist's Family, an absolutely amazing self-portrait of the artist, where she appears surrounded by the closest people in her life. This is her husband, a famous Kazakh graphic artist, people's artist of Kazakhstan, Evgeny Sidorkin, and their teenage son, Vadim. See how the artist builds the composition of this amazing piece, showing herself next to her husband. This state of partnership, equality, on which their marriage was built, their family creative union, is conveyed in positioning of their figures. In her painting The Craftswoman, she decided to depict an abstract image of a woman who devoted her whole life to creating handmade works of art. In fact, this is a dedication to her grandmother, Halida, who was an outstanding master, creating skillful alasha carpets, incredible tapestries, a wide variety of carpets. The technology for creating these works came from antiquity. This knowledge and skills were carefully preserved and passed down from one generation to another, from mother to daughter, from father to son. Gulfayrus herself absorbed everything that her grandmother and mother passed on to her, but embodied it in a completely new art for Kazakhstan, professional fine art. And using these academic techniques, she immortalized the image of her magnificent grandmother, a famous folk master. Take a look at this beautiful character. This is an elderly woman, wise and experienced. Her dark face and hands contrast with the white color of her dress, which gives her figure a grandeur and solemnity.
Лицо и руки контрастируют с белым цветом одеяния, которое торжественно придает ее фигуре монументальность и торжественность.
And everything around her is filled with incredibly rich color. The fact that her works include baskurs, alasha, created with bright threads, their weaving, and these ornamental forms, patterns, was absorbed from early childhood by a little girl who later became a great artist. All this inspired her to create a painting where the brightness of color conveys and embodies the triumph of life. Self-portrait is one of the most difficult genres in art. Why? Because it is essentially a research. The artist doesn't just refer to the image of a person. In self-portrait, the painter seeks to comprehend himself. How accurate, how expressive is the self-portrait of Gulfayrus Ismailova, created by her in the mature period of her work. We see a great master and a woman of outstanding beauty. Her character, her imperiousness, her awareness of her place and position, her air of some kind of royalty is revealed in this incredible image. Look at her gaze. Look at her surroundings. It is no accident that fragments of paintings appear in the background. This is her life. She appears surrounded by art, and the main tool is the brush. With the help of a brush, she carries the light of this world. She brings her creativity to people. And you and I have a unique opportunity to get acquainted with the work of an outstanding artist and appreciate the greatness of her talent.